The online world was outraged by the choice of the lead.
Rachel Zegler has been described as a walking PR disaster.
Her name is Rachel Zegler, an American actress and singer of Colombian and Polish descent.
I'm a narcissist.
General public did not know of her, has not heard her speak, sing, breathe, just pictures. The world was outraged because they did not think she was pretty. Let's get real. They thought she was...
Rachel Zegler is the prime example of how you should never think that you're bigger than the project.
The partner in crime and one of the most entitled.
I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
Toxic.
I'm a narcissist.
Man-hating.
She's not gonna be safe with a prince.
Nasty. The last part, her words. Who single-handedly actually annoyed everyone so bad they skipped this mess. Well played.
I to be in a movie with Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu.
It's great. Okay? It's great. I'm honored. I don't know why I sound so angry right now. I'm honored. Am I a psychopath? No, I've been getting a lot of questions about like, how do I feel? I feel amazing. We start kind of soon and I'm just like, it is the real beginning of my life as a young lady of America. Of America.
Rachel was desperate to play Eva Perón. You know, it was her idea, and we saw an audition tape, and she was absolutely sensational. You know, she worked with our musical supervisor in New York on the material. Her versions of the songs were terrific.
What happens when your big comeback role turns into a stage mutiny? Rachel Zegler was supposed to reclaim her career with Evita. Instead, she got quietly erased from it. It didn't start with drama. It started with buzz. When Rachel was cast as Eva Perón in a West End revival of Evita, the headlines practically wrote themselves. This was her moment, the shot at redemption. A high-profile legacy role that could silence critics and prove she wasn't just a trending name. She was the real deal, and for a moment, it worked.
Why is she starring in the West End version of Evita? I don't understand it. Is what I would say if I had no taste. Rachel Zegler, oh my god. When are you guys gonna see how much of a powerhouse she is? I love Rachel Zegler so much. I just want to let you guys know that I will be sat front and center to see this icon slay Evita.
Producers praised her. Theater blogs buzzed about her modern energy. Rachel herself didn't shy away from the spotlight, posting dramatic rehearsal selfies, cryptic quotes, and tweets that made it clear she believed she was born for this, but then reality showed up. And it didn't come quietly. Whispers began trickling out from rehearsals. Rachel was allegedly clashing with vocal coaches, rewriting choreography, and pushing a take on Eva Perón that some called bold, and others called completely detached from the role. She wanted to make Evita a feminist revolution, a personal manifesto. Directors weren't thrilled. Neither was the cast. Still, theater people are used to quirks. They let artists cook until the kitchen's on fire. And that's exactly what started happening.
I can't believe it. I very much had no interest in seeing Rachel Zegler in any movies heading into this. And watching this made me forget that I really don't like her as an actress.
All is forgiven with the Snow White controversy. Maybe I'm going to show up for it. I thought she was fantastic.
According to multiple insiders, Rachel's behavior spiraled, storming out of rehearsals, refusing notes, publicly calling out crew members. At one point, she allegedly screamed mid-session, "You can't tell me how to play Eva. I am Eva." That wasn't passion. That was ego, inflated and unchecked. The atmosphere turned suffocating. Assistants reportedly rotated shifts just to avoid working when Rachel was around. One choreographer called her the most exhausting performer I've ever worked with. Costume designers were reportedly forced to redo her wardrobe 5 separate times to match her vision of Eva's feminist power arc. And here's the worst part. No one dared challenge her.
Like, I'm the first to admit when I saw her interviews, I hated her. I was like, ew, how snide. Ugh, how condescending. And then I was like, well, wait, she's acting it up. They told her to do that. You can't tell me this young woman was cast in such an iconic role and went, thanks, I hate it. No, let's use our brains.
One wrong word and you'd get a death glare mid-rehearsal. Or worse, be humiliated in front of the entire crew. For a production about political revolution, things backstage were beginning to feel like a dictatorship. Eventually, people stopped whispering and started documenting. Several cast members began keeping logs, noting every outburst, every refusal, every meltdown. Some even started filming rehearsals, not for gossip, for protection. Then came the breaking point. During a full cast run of A New Argentina, Rachel reportedly stopped mid-song, flung her hands up and snapped, "I'm not doing this circus anymore." She stormed off. Silence followed.
So much ground that I never thought I would be able to cover, and that people think I'm doing poorly, and other people think I'm doing gracefully, and I don't think I'm doing it at all. So when I tell you that it's hard, I just mean to be inside my brain. That's hard.
And then someone in the ensemble finally said what everyone was thinking. She's gotta go. This wasn't diva behavior anymore, it was open rebellion. Within days, a group of cast members reportedly requested a private meeting with producers. When they were dismissed, they escalated it. A formal letter was drafted. Detailed, brutal, and signed by nearly half the cast. It listed names, incidents, and direct quotes. One line read, "Rehearsals have become unsafe, unproductive, and entirely centered around one person's emotional instability." And then came the moment of no return. An emergency meeting, calm voices, cold faces, and one line that reportedly landed like a hammer. "We won't share the stage with her."
Hey, if I'm gonna stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed on.
Producers were stunned. "You're asking us to fire our lead?" one asked. "No," came the reply. "We're telling you we won't keep working if you don't." That's when the mask slipped. This wasn't a cast. It was a crew in quiet revolt. The next 48 hours were a blur. Rachel was nowhere to be seen. Rehearsals resumed behind closed doors. Stand-ins filled the spotlight. Scenes were rewritten, songs reassigned, morale reportedly surged. The difference was immediate and hard to ignore. One cast member reportedly said, "It felt like we could breathe again." Another described the mood as electric for the first time in weeks. And in the background, a name began circulating, the understudy. According to insiders, she was polished, prepared, and most importantly, not throwing tantrums between verses. She knew the material cold. Directors were impressed. The cast felt relief. She didn't demand the spotlight. She simply showed up, did the work, and didn't make the show about herself. And in theater, that matters. Meanwhile, Rachel went dark. No more rehearsal selfies, no cryptic tweets, just silence. And the internet noticed. TikTok theater accounts began dropping hints. Zegler out became a recurring theme. A viral video claimed Rachel had been benched after a cast revolt. Old clips of Rachel resurfaced. Shady tweets, snide interviews, that infamous photo of her in a crown with the caption, "They'll hate me for this too." It was reposted with replies like, "We do," "Congrats." Even Evita's official account went suspiciously quiet. No tags, no Rachel photos, just generic marketing. For fans paying attention, the message was obvious. Rachel Zegler wasn't just missing, she was being erased. The backlash was sharp, but not universal. Some fans remained confused, others defensive. A few speculated that the cast was being dramatic, that Rachel was just misunderstood. But even those voices started to quiet down once the silence stretched too long. When there's no denial, no pushback, and no public defense, people start to assume the worst. And here's the thing, theater doesn't forget. It doesn't edit, it doesn't have CGI to polish over tension. It's live, it's real, and when someone poisons the process, there's no mute button, just fallout. Rachel walked into Evita believing the spotlight would fix everything. But theater isn't built for self-indulgence. It demands presence, humility, and respect for the room. You can't muscle your way through a legacy role and expect the ensemble to carry you. And of all roles to mishandle, Evita might be the least forgiving. Eva Peron isn't just a character, she's a symbol. The musical is about power, fame, and the crash that follows when ego outpaces truth. To play Eva well, you have to understand why the people loved her and why they turned. You need charisma, yes, but also vulnerability, control, yes. But never control that silences the chorus around you. And that's where Rachel lost the thread. This wasn't about vocal range or star power. It was about energy. And Rachel's energy reportedly consumed everything around her. What should have been collaboration became combat. Insiders now claim Rachel's name has been scrubbed from internal cast lists, her dressing room cleared. The official program allegedly updated with the understudy's name in bold. Still, no press release, no farewell, no stage goodbye. Just gone. The new Eva is reportedly thriving, the cast is re-energized, the vibe backstage, lighter, focused, collaborative. People are reportedly staying after rehearsal, laughing, working together, rebuilding. It's not just a new lead, it's a new rhythm. And Rachel, she's off the grid. No interviews, no follow-ups, no updates. A vanishing act, but without applause. There's even a story, unconfirmed but consistent, about her first day on set. She reportedly arrived late, iced out the choreographer with a one-line introduction, and when asked to warm up with the ensemble, allegedly said, "I'll do it once we get the lighting right." From that moment, the tone was set. It wasn't Rachel joining the show, it was the show adapting to her. If this was supposed to be a comeback, it ended in silence. And in theater, silence this loud speaks for itself. This isn't her first public unraveling. Industry eyes have been quietly tracking Rachel's pattern for a while now. Awkward interviews, tense press runs, and that infamous moment when she joked she deserved streaming residuals just for showing up in costume. Alone, those were PR blips. Together, they tell a much bigger story. Because in this business, silence isn't always loyalty. Sometimes it's quiet confirmation. Directors talk, stage managers share war stories. And when a name keeps coming up in all the wrong ways, the invitations stop arriving. There are rumors her team is scrambling and pitching redemption arcs, damage control interviews, maybe even talks of a podcast comeback. But right now, no one's biting. Because this isn't a simple PR misstep. This was a full-blown collapse in real time. She didn't just lose a role, she lost the room. And in the world of theater, that's the one thing no star can afford. You can fake a lot in this industry. Charisma, tears, even talent. But respect? That's earned. And when the cast walks out and the crew stops speaking up and the spotlight turns elsewhere, the message is loud. The curtain has already closed. Because here's what Rachel forgot. The stage doesn't care how famous you are. It doesn't care about likes or headlines or trending TikToks. It cares whether you show up, know your lines, share the space, and leave your ego at the door. That's it. That's the job. And maybe this time, the applause won't come back.